Get ready for 12 days of demos for declarative agents in Microsoft 365 Copilot. I've got a really exciting one for you today. Make sure that you are watching all 12 and you will learn the best way to use the best agents in Microsoft 365 Copilot. Let's go ahead. Today we're going to be looking at embedded files, Excel files, and files in SharePoint. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do with this. Let's dive right in. So I downloaded some information from the census. Now this is the educational attainment in Washington State. I'm going to go ahead and use the agent builder built right into Microsoft 365 Copilot. We're going to name it Washington Census Analyst, and it calculates information about educational attainment in Washington State, answers questions about the level of education completed by census tract, county, gender, race, and income. This description is given to the model, so it's important to keep in mind how that is going to be used. The instructions are what the agent is in fact going to do. It's basically giving it some really simple instructions. I haven't actually tested this one, but I'm confident it's going to work. Now, I have already added this folder as a site. So documents in this folder can be searched by my agent, and it can also load in the contents of the files in this folder if there's less than 20 of them. So I put the census data into that folder because the census data is going to get updated every few years. Meanwhile, the table format doesn't change. And so that's really useful to have here also. So I'm going to go ahead and grab information about the table format, both the column metadata and the table notes. These are both provided by the Census Department. So we're going to let these upload. It'll take just a minute for these things to get uploaded and to be indexed. Now, these are pretty small files. Now, these embedded files are going to be loaded into the agent instructions, along with the rest of the system prompt, every single time it's executed. So that means it's going to have all of this information about what the data looks like every time, even if that data gets updated there in SharePoint. Now, of course, you may not be doing a lot of census analysis, but I bet you have a lot of SharePoint folders where many team members contribute. You can certainly think about similar things about key results or key performance indicators getting updated and uploaded into SharePoint. Now, we definitely want to turn on Code Interpreter. That is this create documents, charts, and code so that it can do these calculations. So that's really all I'm going to do here. I'm not going to show you the icon creation experience yet today, but we'll keep moving pretty quickly. So we're going to go ahead and create this agent. One of the things that it's doing on this step is making sure that this agent is responsible and useful for work scenarios. That's why it takes a little bit here. It runs all of the RAI checks through here. It's also got to index these files. So it's going to take just a second to do all this. Here we are with the Washington Census Analyst. Let's go ahead and try what census tracts have the highest amount of college graduates. Now, this should be a pretty straightforward question. Because it's working with Excel data, it needs to use code in order to process that information. If it just looks up the contents of this information, it's really not going to be able to get a very good answer. So it's going to take a few seconds, and we'll go ahead and expand how this looks so we can see that it is using pandas to open up this Excel file. It's looking at the most useful columns, it's renaming them, and of course this actually has to execute as well. And in a 7 or 8 megabyte file, it is going to take a little bit of time. We can see it has taken a second step. It is performing more actions. It found some missing data. And here we go. we see that these census tracts inside King County, looks like mostly inside King County, which is the county of Seattle, has the highest number of college graduates. Of course, it's also the most populous. So let's go ahead and ask it this second question. Provide their percentage of college graduates relative to the total population. I didn't pre-run these queries. We're running all of this live. I've never actually tried this agent before. So we'll see how good the results are this first time that it runs. Now, I know that the total population is not actually in this workbook. So it's first going to have to calculate that information and then go back to the percentage of college graduates. We'll see if the answer changes. All right, it is cleaning the data. It is getting the number of college graduates. And it looks like we are getting, the percentage of total college graduates. Your population years 25 and over. And here we go. Here are the answers. So we can see the number of college graduates and we can see the total population. Looks like King County is still the winner. These census tracts have 80% of the people over 25 holding a bachelor degree or higher. So what we just saw, we're seeing embedded files for information that's not changing and are really the instructions to the agent about what it should be doing and how it should be processing, as well as getting content and files from a SharePoint folder with multiple people potentially contributing, and using Code Interpreter to analyze that Excel data in that folder. That's all for day 1 of our 12 days of demos. Stay tuned.